This is Retirement Keys with Anthony Congemi from Crescent City Retirement Group. When a part of your financial strategy is out of tune, your long-term goals, your retirement savings, and your legacy can all suffer. With many years of experience in the financial industry, Anthony provides his clients and prospects with the information they need regarding Social Security, retirement income planning, wealth management, and much more. Listen in as we address your financial concerns and provide helpful solutions to put you on the path to achieving your retirement goals. And now, here is Retirement Keys with your host, Anthony Congemi.
Hello and welcome to another show of Retirement Keys. All right. Hello and welcome to another show of Retirement Keys. My name's Anthony Congemi with Crescent City Retirement Group. And we have Tony Shore with us today. We really thank you so much for joining us. We love coming to you every Sunday morning at 11 o'clock to talk about retirement planning and retirement issues. We're just coming off of Thanksgiving. And so, Tony, thank you so much for joining us. And we really couldn't do the show without you. And I mean that sincerely. So thank you for being here.
Well, thanks, Anthony. That's nice of you to say. And I wouldn't miss it for the world. We always have fun here each week, and I always manage to learn something, which is that's saying something in and of itself. But, yeah, I've had a great week spending some time with family, excited about the show today. How about you? How have you been?
Been doing well, Tony. Really just, as I say, the holidays are upon us. It's just unbelievable, huh? You look up, and it's the end of the year. Isn't it something?
Yeah, it just flew by.
It really has. And, of course, this is a great time of year to be looking at your end of the year tax strategies. And if you're over 70 and a half, of course, our clients have distribution requirements out of their retirement accounts and all kinds of things we do closing out the year to really try to be as efficient as we can with our planning, and all of that. So we've been busy, but it's been good. It really has.
So what are we talking about on the show today? We're talking about checkups on our finances and retirement plans. What type of checkup are you talking about here?
Well, it's going to be the same way that's important to go. A lot of the same kind of nuances as you go to a doctor for a physical. It's also important to have a checkup for your financial life. So we really do have a financial retirement planning checklist, if you will. And whether your retirement is already now or engaged, or you're nearing retirement, or you're in the early stages of planning, comprehensive retirement checkups are crucial to your success down the road. I'm not just talking about a simple looking at the 401k statement. While that's a small start, a much more well-rounded analysis can help you figure out the other moves you need to make to help secure your future in retirement. So there's really, as you know, Tony, there's 5 really key elements as far as, in our planning, and what we think's really important would be the 5 areas of what we call a stress-free retirement, and that's going to be estate and legacy planning. So when we're doing our checkup, we're checking through all of the estate and legacy planning type documents, whether it be our lawyer looking and reviewing the will or the living will or the power of attorney, beneficiary designations on all our retirement accounts, or whatever the checklist, but going down to make sure that everything's in order as it relates to estate and legacy planning. And then we have the healthcare planning. And so we want to make sure that we're covered if we get sick or if we get disabled. Then there's the investment strategy, and we want to make sure we're in the appropriate investments based on our risk tolerance and our time horizon. Then, of course, there's income planning and structuring that distribution strategy in retirement and maximizing Social Security. And then, of course, there's taxes and making sure that we are tax efficient. So when we think of a checkup in retirement, it isn't just the look at a 401k or how we're invested, that's certainly important. and making sure we're maximizing on company matches and all those types of things. But it's really looking holistically at the estate and legacy, the health care, the investment strategy, the income planning, and the taxes. So those 5 areas, Tony, is what we would say are really the paramount as it relates to putting together a well-rounded plan.
Yeah, those are the 5 keys to retirement that you're always talking about, and it's really important to go over those, and I'm glad you brought that up. And I'm sure it's easy for people out there to just make tentative plans, but then not really follow up with them or go back and check on them down the road.
Exactly, especially these days when so much of your financial life really can be on autopilot. We have automatic deposits set up, account statements sent to our email, automatic 401k contributions coming from our paychecks. It can be easy to put your retirement plan in place and then leave it really unsupervised. But when was the last time you actually checked on your retirement accounts? Is your nest egg as healthy as you believe it to be? It comes as no surprise to say that you need to know where your finances are in order to make sure that you're on the right track. That's why I advise clients and really anyone I talk to about finances to schedule routine checkups every several months or at least once a quarter, every 3 months. And then that way, if there's some adjustment that needs to be made with one of your investments, or if there's some tax strategy you may be able to take advantage of, whether it be making a better contribution or as I said earlier, picking up a company match or taking advantage of some tax change that was made that you can capitalize on. Those types of things you really want to stay abreast of and stay on top of. The other thing is the investments themselves inside of your retirement accounts. Are they performing the way they should, or is there an alternative investment within the account that would maybe serve your purpose better based on your needs, time horizon, risk tolerance, and the like? So absolutely, these quarterly checkups on your plan is essential.
Well, it is very, very essential, and it makes sense. I'm sure it helps provide a more realistic understanding of your situation to do a routine checkup every few months.
Absolutely. It really does. I think it really helps to be aware of where you are in terms of your investment strategy and how far away you are from reaching your goals, especially when you have market fluctuation. Knowing where you stand is a good way to have long-term perspective on your finances, and not to really get too worried over the article of the day or the turmoil of the day, whether it be a political issue or some type of financial issue. I mean, if you have your own retirement plan in place and you have a good strategy, a good investment strategy, the ups and downs of the market, or the kind of the whims of the market itself don't have to, and really should not, derail your long-term retirement plan. I mean, it really shouldn't. But unfortunately, when people are not really grounded in their plan and grounded in their retirement and know where they need to be at any given point in time throughout the year, or at least every year, to make sure we're on track, well, then it can almost feel, a little daunting or a little overwhelming, or, well, am I on track, or do I have a good plan, or am I saving enough? All of those things, you shouldn't have to feel like, you're in the dark. You should be very aware and clear of exactly where you're at in your retirement plan, and exactly when you can retire, and how much income you can generate in retirement, and what all of that should be carved out in a very well holistic, put together retirement plan. And that's, of course, what we offer here, Tony. We do a lot of that. That's really, our whole, existence here is retirement planning, and those 5 key areas, as I mentioned earlier. So I would just encourage you, if you're listening and you have a retirement plan, and you would like to get a second opinion, or if you don't have a holistic plan and you'd like to see what a plan looks like, by all means, give our office a call, but take advantage of this special offer. You've been listening to our shows and advice on getting your finances in order and creating a retirement income plan that will last. Now is the time to take advantage of our special offer. This is Anthony Kangemi of Crescent City Retirement Group, and we're now offering a complimentary gourmet dinner and retirement planning workshop, The 5 Keys to a Stress-Free Retirement. This is one workshop you won't want to miss. Call in the next 20 minutes for this no-cost offer. Seating is limited. Call Crescent City Retirement Group within the next 20 minutes at 504-828-2171. That number again is 504-828-2171.
And welcome back to Retirement Keys with our host, Anthony Kangemi. I'm your co-host, Tony Shore. And Anthony, great show today, talking about really that retirement checkup and how you need to schedule that. You said in your offer there that you're offering a completely no-cost, no-obligation consultation. They can sit down and get a retirement checkup with you. And in the first segment, you discussed the importance of having a retirement plan in place and accounts, obviously, and then establishing some goals. But let's get right back into it. What's another aspect of a retirement checkup?
Well, another part of your retirement checkup is checking on your account balances. Most of your accounts are probably accessible online now, so logging in and seeing how much you're saving and what your account, where your account is. Typically, it's advised that you should be putting 10 to 15% of your pre-tax income towards your retirement accounts. Obviously, the more you squirrel away now, even if it's only a few extra dollars here and there a month, means more money in the future. So looking at your balances, looking at what you're contributing, look at what your company's matching, and then us using some very, very conservative rates of return, we can project what the balances should look like next year and the following year and 5 years from now and 10 years from now. So these are very simple financial calculators that can plug in numbers and look at company match and look at contribution. And as I said earlier, looking at very conservative rates of return. You don't want to look at, returns that are not reasonable, because then you really don't have, you don't have a clear picture of what the value should look like. But if you look at very conservative rates of return, then we want to meet and exceed those balances along the way. But nonetheless, we want to make sure we know exactly where we're going to be year in and year out, so we can project a retirement plan that's going to be realistic. It's going to give you the income you're looking for. We also look at maximizing Social Security, which is a big part of your retirement income planning. So, I tell you, Tony, when you really look at these accounts, that's a great way to start, is to just say, what do I have? What am I putting in? What am I contributing? What is the company matching? That's a great first step.
Well, I think that is a great first step. And obviously, though, there are limits to how much people can put into certain types of retirement accounts, right?
Well, there is, and it depends on the type of account. In 2018, the maximum you could contribute to your 401k was $18,500, and if you're over age 50, you could put in that catch-up up to $24,500. So a total of $24,500 if you're over age 50. With an IRA or a Roth IRA, it was $5,500, and if you're over 50, they give you a $1,000 catch-up. You could put up to $6,500 if you're older than 50. With a SEP IRA, your contributions cannot exceed the lesser of 25% of your compensation, or $55,000. And a simple IRA, you can contribute up to $12,500. So you're right, depending on the type of account you have, the type of retirement account, of course, and your age, there's limits to what you can contribute, and it's important to know what those limits are, and if possible, maximize those contributions. It's going to help you on your taxes. It's going to shelter more, squirrel away more money into your retirement, which will project for a much nicer retirement in the future. So, but being aware of those limits is certainly going to be very important.
Yeah. Oh, very important. And while we're talking about 401ks, how do we get the most out of our 401k?
Well, I can't stress enough the importance of contributing at least as much as your employer matches. If your employer matches 4%, for example, you should take advantage of that benefit. Many people just think of an employer contribution as just part of an additional benefit. But if you think about it, a 401k match is part of your overall compensation. If you're not reaching the full match amount, it's equivalent to essentially telling your employer that they can pay you less money than what you agreed to when you started. In the same way that you wouldn't be okay with your boss leaving $100 or so off of your paycheck, you shouldn't be okay with missing out on money for your retirement account. One of the best things you can do for your retirement is to build and grow your savings through the use of a defined contribution retirement account. So these matches are so important. I mean, as an example, if you make $50,000 a year and the company says we'll match up to 4%, well, if you contribute $2,000, 4% of $50,000, the company's going to match 4%. They're going to match another $2,000. So now you put $4,000 in your 401k, but you only contributed $2,000 because you contributed up to the 4%. But if you only put 2%, on the $50,000, then you're only going to put in $1,000, and the company's only going to match $1,000. So you're really giving, you're not taking advantage. If that's the case now, I mean, I would think, most people do take advantage of the company match and realize how important it is. But because it is money, free money, that I say it's free. You certainly earned it. You're working for it, but it's part of your compensation package. And so if you're not taking advantage of it, you're really not taking advantage of your full compensation.
Right, and you want to make sure that you do take advantage of that. So what's another thing that we can do or people out there can do to ensure the health of their retirement?
Well, another thing I like to advise people to do is to increase their contribution amounts, whether you decide to forego the daily Starbucks runs or go without a meal or two at the restaurant every month. It's incredibly beneficial for you to up your contribution amount even by just 1%. Some accounts even let you set up an automatic increase to your contribution that will go into effect each year. It's definitely worth considering, and it's an easy way to stay on top of your savings amounts. But those very, consistent savings, contributions, monthly, annually, the consistency of it, and then trying to increase a little bit if you can over time is really one way of doing it, Tony, where it's on automatic. You don't really feel it, those small increases, but boy, can it make a dramatic impact on your overall retirement.
Yeah, a huge one. So it's good to get all these ducks in a row early on, have a plan in place, and that's why you're here. So we should probably take a quick break, but before we do, I know you have that special offer for our listeners, correct?
I do. I just want to mention that there's numerous ways you can reach out to us. Certainly go to our website at crescentcityretirement.com. All of our radio shows are archived there. It's a great place to view shows and listen to, and then look at some of the events we have coming up, retirement events that we have scheduled coming up through December and then going into the first quarter of 2020. But anyway, thank you so much for listening. If you don't have a formal retirement plan, or if you'd like to get a second opinion or at least make a comparison, by all means, take advantage of this offer. You've been listening to our shows and advice on getting your finances in order and creating a retirement income plan that will last. Now is the time to take advantage of our special offer. This is Anthony Kangemi with Crescent City Retirement Group, and we're now offering our 3-step retirement planning process at no cost and a $100 gift card to the restaurant of your choice upon completion of the planning process. Call Crescent City Retirement Group within the next 20 minutes at 504-828-2171. That number again is 504-828-2171.
And welcome back to our last segment for this episode of Retirement Keys with our host, Anthony Congemi, and myself, your co-host, Tony Shore. Now, Anthony, we've been talking about how to schedule a retirement checkup, how important that is, and ways you can stay on top of your plans, your finances, and make sure your accounts are quote-unquote healthy, ensuring that you have a proper retirement account, contributing to it regularly. Take advantage of that employer match. You've talked about a lot already. Can you think of other things that somebody should do to make sure their retirement is on track?
Well, sure. I think that another important thing to do in your retirement checkup is to make sure that your investment strategy makes sense. Staying in conservative investments may be appealing, especially to your emotions that may fear market crashes, but the yields that you will earn in overly conservative investments can be maybe too low to provide the income and purchasing power that you're going to need down the road, especially when you take inflation into consideration, or that your retirement may last over 30 years and life expectancy rates today. People are living much longer. The market may be the last place you want to put any of your retirement money if, for example, you were burned in a crash in the 2008 crash. But the long-term growth that provides historically can be certainly beneficial. You just need to find the right balance of your assets so that you can get some market growth, market exposure without being hit too hard during any kind of market downturn. So, as you know, Tony, we talk a lot about red money and green money and safe money and risk money. And so having that appropriate balance, not having everything in the market and everything on the risk side. And of course, there's different shades of red, I like to say, which meaning there's different, portfolios hold different levels of volatility and levels of risk. So just because you're in the market doesn't mean that, it has to be a high on the risk scale. It could be a more stable type portfolio that offers good growth, but you're not, heavy on the high end of the risk scale. So, you just have to look at a balance. And then, of course, the green money is the safe money. That's the money that says, hey, even if the market drops on the green side, we may not make anything in a bad year, but we certainly don't lose anything. So having that appropriate balance is certainly makes sense.
Well, it does. So how can somebody out there find that right balance of their assets?
Well, one of the ways we like to help our clients figure out the asset allocation is by using this proprietary color of money risk analysis. The COMRA is the acronym. It's a short questionnaire with 11 simple questions that help you get better ideas of where you are financially and where you want to be and what your actual risk tolerance is. The number that you are given at the end gives you a better idea of where your assets should be. This is one of the first steps in retirement planning process that can help you figure out how your assets should be allocated between more risky investments and the more conservative investments. So this COMRA, this color of money risk analysis, is absolutely a great place to start, Tony.
Awesome. Sounds like it, and that's a good point. Do you have any other tips you want to recommend to our listeners out there?
Well, I think the last one I'd have is that you should analyze your retirement plans periodically to make sure that it still makes sense. This is especially true if you have a specific retirement date in mind. It's important to look at the current value of your investments and figure out if it's enough to get you through your planned retirement years comfortably. So looking at that distribution strategy is very, very important. This involves crunching the numbers and figuring out what you can realistically expect in terms of Social Security benefits, pensions, and how much you can safely take out of your 401ks and other retirement accounts. During these steps, it's really helpful to have a trusted financial services professional assist you. You may be able to do a lot of the retirement checkup on your own, but a good financial professional will help you compare the health of your retirement plan and all of the unexpected and often overlooked aspects of retirement that can come up.
Well, Anthony, today you've made some amazing points, and it is so important that we do check in on our retirement plans and really do a checkup. a regular checkup. Just like we do with the regular doctor, you need to talk to the financial doctor, Anthony Congemi, as I like to call you, just a little nickname there. But Anthony, great show. You covered a lot of points, things we need to look at before retirement to get our finances in order, create a plan. So before we go, why don't we listen to that offer of yours one more time for our listeners out there?
You've been listening to our shows and advice on getting your finances in order and creating a retirement income plan that will last. Now is the time to take advantage of our special offer. This is Anthony Congemi of Crescent City Retirement Group, and we're now offering a complimentary gourmet dinner and retirement planning workshop, The 5 Keys to a Stress-Free Retirement. This is one workshop you won't want to miss. Call in the next 20 minutes for this no-cost offer. Seating is limited. Call Crescent City Retirement Group within the next 20 minutes at 504-828-2171. That number again is 504-828-2171.
All right, and that does it for today's episode of Retirement Keys with our host, Anthony Congemi. Thank you for listening to Retirement Keys. Don't pay too much for taxes or retire without a sound income plan. For more information, please contact Anthony Congemi at Crescent City Retirement Group. Call 504-828-2171 or visit the website at crescentcityretirement.com. All matters discussed during this show are for informational purposes only. Each individual situation may vary, and the opinions expressed here may not apply to everyone. Materials presented are believed to be from reliable sources, and no representations can be made as to its accuracy. All ideas and information should be discussed in detail with one of our qualified representatives prior to implementation. Anthony Congemi and Crescent City Retirement Group are not affiliated with or endorsed by the Social Security Administration or any other government agency.